Have you ever walked into a thrift store and wondered, am I staring directly at hidden treasures and I don't even know it? Well, in today's video, I am going to share with you 5 hidden treasures that bring in big bucks, along with tips to help you know exactly what to look for. Let's dive in and start with something a little unexpected. First up, copper items. I have been selling a ton of copper items lately, especially copper cookware. Copper cookware, copper trays, decorative items are in huge demand right now. People love the vintage look, and chefs and cooks love the quality of copper cookware. One tip is to make sure that it is solid copper, and usually you can find a stamp on the item that will say either copper or solid copper. Here are a few recent copper sales that I have made. I sold this copper mixing bowl for $75, and this one was stamped right on the edge saying made in France. If you find copper pieces that are made in France, made in Italy, these can really bring in a lot of profit. I sold this mixed metal copper and brass colander for $35. This copper planter sold for $20. I found this really cool copper tea kettle with a wooden handle, and it sold for $40. And it doesn't have to be just cookware. This is a copper trivet of a cat, and it sold for $20. The next hidden treasure are kitschy or fun kitchen and household items. Could be household, could be garden, but really fun, quirky household items or kitchen items can sell really well. First up, I have this metal owl napkin holder that sold for me for $40. This next item wasn't exactly a kitchen, it was just a quirky, weird little thing. This was a metal cricket in a cage. This sold for $40. And when you're looking at the teacups and mugs, finding ones that will speak to a person's personality or style can really go a long way into bringing good profits. It's always wise, especially with mugs, to look them up. But here are some that sold for me for a really good profit. This was a little pink toile mug that sold for $19.99. Teacup, I should say. It was kind of a big teacup. Then I have this Colorado mug, totally vintage retro, sold for $29. Ski Colorado. And then these were little tea tins, but they had Alice in Wonderland on them. I bought them at a garage sale and they sold for $19.99. I know, like, my mom loves Alice in Wonderland, so I know there are people out there that have really niche collections, and Alice in Wonderland falls into that. Another pretty cool, quirky, kitschy item were these glass floral name place holders. These sold for $77. I couldn't resist this little dopey garden solar globe. This one sold for $50. And another really cool kitschy item that I found was this Be a Deer, Hang It Here hook, and it even had the original box. This sold for $40. Another thing that you really don't want to pass up when you're looking around the thrift stores are Peanuts gang items. So we're talking Snoopy, Charlie Brown, Lucy and Linus. This is a tray that I picked up at a garage sale and it sold for $36. I've sold lots of peanut stuff over the years. This was a set of Hallmark plates that sold for $40. And I have to say, probably these Washerbach plates and bowls that I sold were probably my best peanut sales of all times. This set of plates sold for $105, and these mugs sold for $140. And I just had to buy them all. But I've sold almost all of them. I think there might be a couple bowls left in there, but they sold pretty quickly and for a great profit. The next category that you want to really hone in on are mid-century modern items. I kept waiting for the mid-century modern craze to kind of taper off, but it really hasn't. I remember, it's been pretty popular for a while, and mid-century modern items can really still sell very well. I almost count the owl as a mid-century. It's kind of kitschy kitchen, but it is also a bit mid-century modern, or at least mid-century. The little cricket in the cage might also be considered mid-century, but here is this marble and brass letter holder that sold for $30. This little brass mid-century modern cat sold for $20. I love selling little brass figurines. These A to Z bookends sold for $50. And this wooden bowl, kind of a salad bowl and mini bowls for serving, sold for $54.99. And this ashtray sold for $50. Copper items, kitsch and quirky items, peanuts, gang, mid-century modern. What else should you be looking for? And here's one you may have heard me talk about before, but maybe not. It is empty boxes and bags. You might be throwing away empty boxes that come with items you have purchased, or you might see some at a garage sale and think, why is somebody selling that empty box? But there can be money in those empty packaging boxes, and let me show you which ones. Well, one of course would be Tiffany. This is an empty Tiffany jewelry box that I sold for $17.99. Here's a little pouch and Tiffany box that sold for $18.99, but it doesn't have to be Tiffany. James Avery, this lot of bags and boxes sold for $40. This lot of James Avery boxes sold for $34.99. Apple boxes are another great sell. This was an Apple iMac, just the box, sold for $40. Here's an Apple Watch box that sold for $17.99. And Coach, this little Coach box sold for $15. So don't throw those boxes and bags away. Look them up first and see if you can get some money in, if you can make some money off something you might have just thrown away. So next time you see an empty box or bag at a garage sale, don't just walk by it. Take a second to check it out because it might be worth money. I'd love to hear from you. What other things at garage sales and thrift stores might we be walking past that could bring in a lot of profits? And if you enjoy videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the content that I'm putting out. Thanks so much for hanging out. Bye, everyone.